Our last four episodes have featured Ohio State alumni and faculty who have parlayed their education into entrepreneurial success. Today, we'll conclude our entrepreneur tour with a decidedly broader perspective. Our guest is Kevin Taylor, the Chief Innovation Officer for Ohio State's Enterprise for Research, Innovation, and Knowledge. In this role, he leads a commercialization and licensing team that works with researchers to translate their innovations into commercial opportunities that positively impact people's lives and benefit the world. Oh, and I must add, Kevin is an Ohio State engineering alumnus. After earning both his bachelor's and master's in electrical engineering, his career has spanned all aspects of commercialization, from discovery and innovation through new company formation, launch, and global P&L management. Before coming back to his alma mater, Kevin was vice president for healthcare at Beyond Limits, a growth stage AI company based on technology license out of Caltech. Prior to that, he served in several roles at our collaborative neighbors, Cardinal Health and Battelle. Kevin, I'm looking forward to diving into commercialization, innovation, and entrepreneurship at Ohio State. Welcome to Enginuity.
Thank you, Dean Howard. It is a joy to be here with you. I have to first say the College of Engineering did an excellent job of preparing me for what became a surprisingly diverse career. And you think you're coming out with a solid set of skills, and you are, but just fantastic skills and ready for the workforce. But what I came to appreciate throughout my career is the College of Engineering taught me how to think. It taught me how to think about systems and how to solve complex problems and how to work with others to solve complex problems. And, it served me extremely well as I went into, business development, sales and marketing, in global market development, investing, all of those things I can trace back to the skills I learned in the college. So I'm incredibly grateful. And something else I'll say, and that I owe a debt of gratitude to the university, is it allowed me to help people, to serve people. And very few people know this, just my innermost family. When I was in my fifth year of engineering, I thought about, well, I did more than think about it. I applied to the College of Social Work. And my family, everybody was quite surprised. It's because I want to serve people. And my dad talked to me and he said, Kevin, you can serve millions of people through engineering. And so I stayed the course, and then I got my master's degree. And I was blessed to work on my early career, I worked on a cervical cancer screening device that was a leading product used for detecting cervical cancer in women, and had an impact on millions of people. And that's just an example of, my dad was right, and the college prepared me for what became an incredible career. I will also say, I bleed scarlet and gray. My mom was a graduate. I met my wife here. She's a graduate. I've had three children go through Ohio State, two into the College of Engineering. And my nephew, Jake Diebler, is the men's basketball coach. And my nephew, John Diebler, his brother, was a star basketball player here for 4 years. So it is like, you can't get away from it, my family. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to serve the university, and thanks for the time today.
Beautiful. So one, wise dad, and two, I'll give you the dollar after the show.
Yeah. Yes.
So I fundamentally believe that converting innovation, and you mentioned having real world impact, but this conversion of innovation into real world technology, products, and services is an inherent responsibility of land grant tier one research institutions like Ohio State. And in my 4+ years here, it certainly seems like commercialization is on the upswing. And so is that a fair assessment, or am I wearing, you said you bleed scarlet and gray, am I wearing scarlet tinted glasses?
So I could be accused of wearing scarlet tinted glasses as well, because I love Ohio State, but the data proves it out. And if you look at what's happened at the university in in innovation, entrepreneurship, and commercialization, both for faculty and researchers and staff, but also for students. It is remarkable what's taken place. Across the university, things have been improving. Okay, we've had a really good environment, and we see an entrepreneurial mindset forming in our faculty, and they're really engaged with our office and are excited by innovation and commercialization. And when you look at the College of Engineering, I'll pick out a couple of examples. So we look at invention disclosures, and we look at deals made and patents filed and issued and startups formed, et cetera. So the college in fiscal year 25, which is our last fiscal year, had over 180 invention disclosures where they were either the primary or secondary inventors, which is nearly 30% higher than the 5-year average from the College of Engineering. Okay, so that's an impressive number. It represents 52% of the invention disclosures received by our office in fiscal year 25. And we also are seeing, I'll just talk about our students a little bit. We're seeing tremendous participation by students in the College of Engineering in programs that are offered by the Keenan Center for Entrepreneurship. And we had 185 students participating from the college. And the center supported the capstone program and BME 4011, 4510, and then an ECE course 5078. They're on multiple grants. Ian Harris, who was a College of Engineering student, won Young Innovator of the Year and was the Boss Space and PBA winner, and has a company called Sparrow Systems. We had five new startups from the College of Engineering in fiscal year 25. So I could go on and on about the metrics that reflect a vibrant, innovative, engaged kind of research ecosystem that is producing innovations that are going to solve problems that matter.
So it's no wonder I still remain proud of our faculty and students and staff.
Yes.
So let's transition a little from quantitative. You mentioned a couple of stats, a 30% increase, which I like. Let's talk a little bit about qualitative. Well, I'm familiar with many Ohio State engineering commercialization success stories.
Mhm.
I'd love for you to share a few examples with our listeners, including any potholes and detours encountered on those journeys. Basically kind of a lessons learned, if you will.
Yeah, every startup and actually every technology follows a path that is unique, and it's not linear. It's not A to B to C. There's learning that's happening at each step and pivoting and improving. And so as not to single out any of specific startups on I'll say on potholes and detours. I'm going to use my own group for a second. Um, you know, we've been on a journey over the last, I've been here 6.5 years, which I'm so grateful for. But we've been on a journey of continuous improvement. And so we had over 30 continuous improvement projects last year, and we benchmark all the time. We're benchmarking the best in class all the time. And in some areas, we are the best in class. An example, though, where we were falling short was in software. We had overcomplicated our software licensing activities. And so this year we rolled out, we learned from the best. We greatly simplified our terms. We do equity-only deals. They literally can be done in a day. It sounds ridiculous, and it's not the experience that's been there before, but we can. And so I bring that up to say this: we're constantly changing and improving our organization, and our startups are always changing and reacting to changes in the market. It may be changes in the technology landscape. It may be, what happens competitively. And so every company experiences it. But I've got a few I'd like to just talk about briefly that that are just so impressive. And I have to say, I'm not going to talk about many, many others. And I'm going to apologize to those fantastic entrepreneurs who deserve to be called out, but we just don't have the time. So first, I'd like to talk about Dr. Emery Coxell. He's a professor in electrical and computer engineering, and he started a company that became PhoenixPire. It's developing advanced file level encryption that simplifies data security management. And Dr. Coxell's company raised $3.3 million in a Series A in 2024, and he continues to advance their company. Great, he's just a great example. Another one kind of showing the diversity of the portfolio is Nucor Bio. And Nucor recently received a $300,000 STTR Phase 1 grant to evaluate scalable manufacturing efficiencies to deliver exosome-based therapies for challenging genetic disorders. That company was co-founded with OSU alum and Professor Daniel Gallego Perez and Natalia Higuita Castro, and they're both from biomedical engineering. And then one from CSE is Professor Arnab Nandi. And again, Dr. Nandi is fantastic. He founded a startup called MobiKit. And he did that in 2019 for interactive vehicle fleet data analysis. Within 2 years, it was acquired by Azuga. And just later that same year, it was acquired by Bridgestone. So relevant technology, entrepreneurial faculty solving a problem and getting great commercial uptake. And then the last one I'll mention is one where we've done licenses with major corporations. So we've talked about startups, but Dr. Ellis Fan has a revolutionary redox energy recovery system that he's been developing over decades. And it's been licensed by many leading companies, including Tata Steel and Ohio-based Babcock and Wilcox. And it's incredible the breadth of companies, of licenses that are happening because of the research across all the departments within the College of Engineering. They all have invention disclosures. They all have phenomenal research. And my team and I are blessed to be able to work with them and see these things come to life and then help in our small way to get them into the market.
Oh, I love those examples. From licensing to seed funding to Series A to actual acquisition. Well, actually, two acquisitions.
Yeah.
Those stories really show the value of what we do here in this space, in this commercialization and entrepreneurial mindset space. And so I love hearing these stories about faculty members, about students working hard to focus on commercialization. So thinking about that, just kind of personally, how do you and your team engage with inventors and innovators and kind of encourage them throughout the university?
So we foster within the organization a culture of curiosity and a deep sense of mission. So we know that, we're not the ones who create the inventions. We're not the ones who are building the companies, but we play a critical role that we take very, very seriously. And we know that ultimately, as we serve our faculty, the better we do it and the easier it is, the more innovations from our research are going to make it into the market and make a difference in people's lives. And so we have a culture, again, of curiosity and service to the mission. But people have to know that not only are we easy to work with, that we're competent and that we care, but they have to see us. They have to know us. And so over the last 3 years, and this is, I'll say at the university writ large, our team members have reached out to over 5,000 researchers at the university, introducing ourselves and asking to learn more about their research, about their labs, meet their grad students, et cetera. For the College of Engineering, we did that with over 500 researchers just in fiscal year 25. The other thing I'll mention is they have to know that we're going to listen And so we care about what do they want to do with their innovation. And if they want to become an entrepreneur and a founder, we encourage that. If they want to license it and maybe advise and do some consulting, we encourage that. And if they don't want to do anything, that's okay too. And so it's we approach it as a privilege, and we just do our best to engage with as many people as possible.
Thank you. And so as you navigate, as you engage with the innovators, inventors at Ohio State in engineering, I know part of this, and you mentioned licenses as an example, part of it is to involve industry in this. How do companies plug into the Buckeye innovation pipeline?
So there are many ways they can do that. We work very closely with our partners in advancement and in kind of the corporate outreach, but we also provide access to our technologies that we have available to license. We have 700 that are listed on our website, and they are described in detail. They're in a searchable format. So you can pick your domain area that you're interested, for example, and it will help kind of bring them down into a more consumable subset. Over 300 of our current technologies are in engineering and physical sciences. And we also work very closely with our innovators because they often know the companies that would benefit the most from their innovations. And so we will do outreach to specific companies. And so I would say if you're interested in the technologies on our website and you're listening, you can just type into your favorite search engine, if you're still using search engines, Ohio State Technologies, and it'll take you to our page and you'll see those. And the other thing I would say is, we are all here to serve. And so people can also reach out to me directly at taylor.153@osu.edu. And I'll make sure that interested companies get to the right people and see our innovative technology.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we covered a lot of ground. It's clear that Ohio State is committed to innovation and commercialization, and it's comforting to know that a Buckeye engineer is at the wheel. Kevin, thanks so much for spending time with us.
It's been a joy, Dean Howard, and I am incredibly proud to be an alum of Ohio State and the College of Engineering, and I will be always grateful for what it did in my life. So thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Enginuity. Stay up to date on all the amazing innovation and groundbreaking research happening within The Ohio State University College of Engineering by connecting with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and X.